ओके जी, चलिए शुरू करते हैं। Hello and welcome. We are interrupting our regular programming to bring you a special broadcast on the just concluded election in the eastern Indian state of Bihar. We're calling it Battle for Bihar. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran and with me is my colleague Munmun Bhattacharya.
Good evening, Ramesh. Over the next 1 hour, we will be joined by a full complement of reporters from Bihar. For the latest, also joining us would be our guests who will put the election into proper perspective for us.
All right, then let's get started. We are hours away from counting day. Votes will be tallied from 8 in the morning on Friday the 14th. Remember, Bihar went to the polls in two phases on 6th and 11th November.
Absolutely. 243 seats are up for grabs. The halfway mark or the magic number is 122. And consider the following statistics. At 67%, Bihar recorded the highest turnout since 1951. Bihar, in fact, recorded the highest ever women voter turnout in its history. It is at 71.6%. Polling passed off peacefully. And for the first time, 16 delegates from 6 countries, that is South Africa, Indonesia, Thailand, the Philippines, Belgium and Colombia, they all witnessed the polling as part of the International Election Visitors Program this year.
Okay, so let's take a deep dive into specifics. Bihar witnessed its highest voter turnout in its history, with 67.13% polling recorded in the two-phase election, the highest, as we said, since 1951.
Women voters in Bihar outpaced men at the ballot box, registering a record 71.78% turnout, and that's compared to 62.98% among men. So there is a significant gap there. This marks Bihar's highest female voter participation ever.
Right, now in phase 1, polling was held across 18 districts and 121 constituencies. The turnout was 65.08% with 69.04% women and 61.56% men casting their vote. Phase 2 covered 20 districts and 122 constituencies. Now this phase saw an even higher 68.76% turnout, including 74.03% women and 64.1% men.
Across both phases, more than 850,000 polling personnel and 140,000 polling agents facilitated voting at nearly 90,740 polling stations. The Election Commission deployed over 240 general observers. There were 38 police observers and 67 expenditure observers to ensure the smooth conduct of the elections, to ensure that it's a free and fair election.
Right, in some other news we're tracking here on this special broadcast, India's Chief Election Commissioner Gyanesh Kumar called the Bihar election historic.
And he thanked voters for the record turnout.
बिहार की विधानसभा के 2025 के चुनाव ऐतिहासिक रहे। बिहार के मतदाताओं ने भी आज आजाद भारत में इतिहास रच दिया है। सर्वाधिक प्रतिशत वोटिंग की, जो कि लगभग 66.9% है। हमारी माताओं, बहुओं और बेटियों ने अभी तक का सबसे अधिक मतदान किया है 71%। बिहार के इन पारदर्शी और शांतिपूर्ण चुनावों ने पूरे भारत को राह दिखाई है।
Now, a whole host of issues ranging from development and jobs to identity dominated the consciousness of the state's 74 million voters.
And DD India's Gautam Roy reports from Patna on the issues.
Patna has the buzz of a state capital on the brink of a tantalizing election result on Friday. Bihar's 74 million voters have come out in unprecedented numbers in the two phases of polling to deliver a 67.13% turnout, almost 10% higher than the 2020 state polls. A wide range of issues drew voters, particularly women and Gen Z, or more broadly, the youth, to polling stations this time around.
The percentage of vote of this Bihar Assembly election is now approximate 70%. So definitely the main voter of this, the feature of the main election is Jengji.
Development, infrastructure, the unemployment here, the poverty here, everything is here. Almost everything is in the concern of the people here, but not in the eyes of the government. And we definitely need a change to get Bihar at some other, at a good level.
Each election brings a different set of issues with it. 2025 Bihar has been no different. Some major considerations include multiple benefits of double-engine government, boosting infrastructure and development core theme, state witness launch of landmark projects like double-decker flyover and Patna Metro Phase 1, key highway inaugurated by PM Modi recently, Makhana Board and AIMS Darbhanga part of development efforts, urban infra, connectivity, electricity coverage stand out. 16 million households got tap water under Jal Jeevan Mission. 40 plus million Ayushman Bharat health services benefit cards created. 14 million toilets under Swachh Bharat Rural. 6 million houses sanctioned under PM Awas scheme. 7.6 plus million farmers beneficiaries of PM Kisan scheme. Central government allocation hiked by 4x of UPA government tenure to 104 billion USD per annum. 5 plus million government jobs and employment opportunities created since 2020. Free food grain provided to 87 million people under PM Garib Kalyan Yojana. Electrification up from 22% to 96%. 37.7 million people escaped multidimensional poverty in the state between 2013-14 and 2022-23. Bihar GSDP went up at 11.31% CAGR from 2015-16 to 2024-25. Women empowerment through schemes like Mukhyamantri Mahila Rozgar Yojana. Rupees 10,000 recently transferred to women beneficiaries. CM Nitish Kumar's image as Sushasan Babu, contrasted with Lalu Rabri, Tejasvi's Jungle Raj. Employment and migration remain key concerns of voters young and old. Election Commission's special intensive revision of voters list led to nearly 6.5 million deletions. Opposition has attempted to exploit the issue as biased in favor of NDA. The PK factor. Political strategist Prashant Kishore's Jan Suraj party, JSP, gave new twist to the contest. Rift in RJD also led to Tej Pratap launching his party. Caste politics has also had its own sway in Bihar's electoral history. Experts say the results will also show to what extent is the state still back in the old groove or whether it has moved away from it, based on other considerations like development, leadership, and social justice.
Every political party works out caste structure. When you do the seat sharing, they see the caste combination, caste aspiration. That's why Chirag Paswan, Upendra Kushwaha were very important factor this time, because when they came back to NDA fold, NDA is started with arithmetic advantage of 5% votes as against the Mahagathbandhan. So of course it's the basic, I call it a dough. Dough is caste. And then, of course, there is the Nitish factor, which you call development factor, and then other factors.
Counting day can also be expected to serve as a barometer of not only the voters' mindset, but also their political palette.
Each election, be it anywhere in the country, Bihar in this case, depends on a wide range of factors which start from the existential to identity to aspirations as well. Each of the 74 million voters in this state have decided who goes to sit in the house behind me based on multiple factors. Elections are complex, and India, and indeed Bihar, revels in this complexity. With camera person Vicky Rajput, Gautam Roy, Patna, DD India.
Now, the big questions confronting voters on the eve of counting are: 1. Will it be a straight fight between the NDA and the opposition alliance?
Absolutely. And the second question is, how will smaller parties perform this time around? DD India's Deepika Mehto takes a look at the main parties and the alliances.
Bihar is all set to have a fresh spell its assembly with the announcement of assembly election winners on the 14th of November. A fierce competition was seen in the campaigning phase between Mahagathbandhan's Tejaswi Yadav and NDA's Nitish Kumar for the chief ministerial position, with others slightly lagging behind in making an impact on the voters. However, the results will clear the air sooner.
हमारे लिए बिहार के लिए सीएम तो मुझे नीतीश कुमार चाहिए।
सीएम पोजीशन के लिए सबसे बढ़िया दावेदार तो नीतीश है, उसके बाद में चिराग पासवान है।
आरजेडी फुल बहुमत से बनेगा, प्लस उसके साथ जितना महागठबंधन है वो लोग भी फुल बहुमत लाएगा।
नीतीश कुमार ही है। क्यों? वो बिहार में बहुत प्रोग्रेस किए हैं। अच्छा। देखिए ये जो 6 लाइन बहुत सारा मतलब बहुत हर एक जगह ये रोड बनाए हैं, विकलांग लोग का पेंशन भी बढ़ाए हैं, ये नीतीश कुमार ही ने किए हैं।
Both the strongholds are fielding with alliances on each side. The NDA has 5 constituents: Bharatiya Janata Party, Nitish Kumar's Janata Dal United, Chirag Paswan's Lok Janshakti Party, Jitin Ram Manjhi's Hindustani Awam Morcha, and the Rashtriya Lok Morcha of Upendra Kushwaha. Whereas the opposition's Mahagathbandhan consists of 7 national and regional parties. These include Rashtriya Janata Dal and the Indian National Congress. Left parties include the Communist Party of India (CPI), Communist Party of India Marxist-Leninist Liberation, and Communist Party of India Marxist. Apart from the Mukesh Sahani's Vikashsheel Insan Party and Indrajit Prasad Gupta's Indian Inclusive Party are also contesting the Bihar Assembly elections 2025 under the banner of Mahagathbandhan. Between these grand alliances, Prashant Kishore's Jan Suraj Party also tried to make a mark. However, the results will soon clarify on who won people's mandate.
While the campaigning showed a fierce rivalry between Nitish Kumar and Tejaswi Yadav for the post of Chief Minister, here people say that they go for Nitish Kumar, but few of them have the support to RJD as well. Now, the final counting day will decide that who takes the chief ministerial position here in Bihar Assembly elections. With camera person Manmohan, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Patna, Bihar.
And we are now getting a perspective from the studio as well as from Bihar. Deepika Mehto, our correspondent, is joining us from Patna. Gautam Roy also is joining us from Patna. Also Sanjay Singh, a senior journalist, and Aditi Tandon, associate editor with the Tribune, is joining us here in the studio. A warm welcome to all of you. Deepika, let's get a now ground update first. You've spent the last few days in Bihar covering the election for us. Where all did you go and what did you see and hear during your travels?
We began with the first polling day, with the first phase of polling, which was here in Patna itself, and then we moved on to Jahanabad. Jahanabad, you would remember the jailbreak Andolan that happened in the year 2005 because it was a Naxal hit area. But now such is not the case here. It is a free place, free of Naxals, and it witnessed a very fair democratic process in the name of polling as well. And we showed you the visuals of the smart polling booths there in Jahanabad itself. There onwards, we moved on to Sitamarhi. Now, Sitamarhi, there people are expecting a huge developmental boost in the name of the development of the Sita temple there, whose inauguration, whose announcement was done recently by Union Minister Amit Shah in the month of August itself. And then we went on to Gayaji. Now, Gayaji is a globally acclaimed place. It's a spiritual place, religious place. However, people, especially the traders there, have a different demand, which is the GI tagging of their tilkut. So there you can see a range of demands, a range of requirements, and a range of needs also, basic needs also, from smaller villages like Arwal to bigger cities like Gayaji, and especially now here in Patna. I would quickly request my camera person to show you, because when we are talking about the development, I would request my camera person to show you a quick picture of Patna's development here. This is the JP Ganga path here, and this is a 4-way expressway whose recent inauguration happened in the year or in the month of August only in 2025. Now here you can see that it is such a modern expressway. Apart from that, when we talk about from the perspective of job opportunities, there you can see the smaller shops also which have been placed here, which means more job opportunities for people here, and especially the fact is that most of them are run by women. You can see the first shopkeeper itself is a woman. Apart from that, there are so many people coming out in large numbers to take a tour, to rest, to enjoy the JP Ganga Path, and many of them are women also, which means a safer place this time. Patna has a different image, Bihar has a different image. So we can see all three factors on which people have voted this time: infrastructural development, job creation, and safety for women, all of them in one frame through the help of this JP Ganga Path. So these have been key issues all around Bihar this time for which people have voted. Munmun.
Right, let me also go across to my colleague Gautam Roy before we bring in our guests on this broadcast. Gautam, describe to us the mood in Patna tonight as we speak on the eve of counting day. Do we know where all the leaders are and what they're up to?
Well, Ramesh, yes, the mood in Patna is quite palpable in the sense that there's a lot of excitement. The political parties, of course, buzz with making their own set of claims as to what their fate will be, and that how they will, if they are in power, remain in power, and if they're not, they're wresting power from those who are right now entrenched in the House as well as in the government. But as far as the people are concerned, they have given their mandate, and they're also wondering, if the exit polls are correct, if those results are to bear true, the fate of Bihar, they say, seems to have been in good hands for the last almost 2 decades. But they also wonder in terms of the additional mandate that has come about in terms of an unprecedented turnout, and almost an addition of 10% votes, a lot of them from women and the Gen Z, as to what does that vote represent, and will that lead to a certain change also, if there's a possibility. So even after the exit polls, we see that there is a bit of uncertainty, a bit of anticipation also building up as far as the people are concerned. They may have made their own choices, but they do not know as to what is the larger picture till it clearly emerges.
Right, Gautam, stay with us. Deepika, I would request you also to stay with us. Let's get perspective from the guests. Aditi ji is right here with us. Let's begin with the exit polls, because that's the last thing that we heard on, and we know that they're all unanimous. They're all giving NDA at least a simple majority. Some are giving it a 2/3 majority as well. In the past, we've seen exit polls have gone right, they've gone wrong as well. There's always a challenge of converting the vote share that you get from the sampling that you do to seats, and not everyone gets it right. But what is your sense, considering that you've seen the elections over the years, and you've seen it this time around as well? You've researched heavily on this, so if you could tell us whether you think they are on the mark, off the mark this time around.
See, Munmun, by simple plain arithmetic calculation, if you were to factor in nothing else and just the caste calculus and just the campaign pitches that different parties and different alliances have brought into this election, the NDA has maintained an edge in this entire battle from the beginning. And I say that not because, we have assessed what are the factors that are going in favor of NDA. The first big factor was that they got their alliance intact and united well in time. That was before the Mahagathbandhan, and we saw how Tejasvi Yadav and Rahul Gandhi's party, Congress and RJD, struggled to come to terms with, the alliance equations and the seat sharing. That happened absolutely till the last date. And even as the withdrawal of candidatures happened, there were at least 10 to 15 seats where still, alliance partners within the opposition camp are fighting each other. They call it friendly fights, but that is going to damage them to some extent, because the combinations in those seats are such. Now coming to the NDA side, the first thing was they got the united coalition in place. They had the seat sharing in place. They announced it well in time. They were campaigning well ahead of the Mahagathbandhan. And then the biggest turn around in the election, as far as I am concerned, was when Prime Minister announced that ye Narendra or Nitish ki campaign hai. So when he put an N plus N and he clarified that whole Congress party and RJD narrative that Nitish Kumar is going to be rested after this particular election, whatever be the result, even if it's in favor of the NDA. So Prime Minister effectively scuttled that particular apprehension, putting the fight firmly between two regional leaders, Nitish on one side and Tejaswi Yadav on the other. And on the central, on the national front, it was between Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, and Rahul Gandhi, the leader of opposition. So on both the counts, in the perception battle, it appeared that the NDA had an edge.
Indeed. Let me take the same question to you, Mrs. Singh. Do you have a healthy skepticism for exit polls? You think they might have got it right this time round?
See, exit poll, you have to take exit poll with a pinch of salt. I take that spicing of closure of election process. But then, yes, exit polls have gone wrong. Recently, in case of Chhattisgarh, in case of Haryana, 2014 parliamentary election, 2017 UP elections, 2014 and 17 not exactly wrong, but they did not show the real trends. In Bihar's case, what I in my personal opinion, exit polls are broadly on the mark because of several factors. Initially, Prashant Kishore, it looked like he was creating a momentum. He could not ride it. His momentum or his campaign dissipated soon after elections were announced. Rahul Gandhi made a serious flaw in his campaign strategy. So did Tejaswi Yadav. They traveled across Bihar for 2 weeks, 14 days, campaigning for Vote Adhikar Yatra and a completely flawed idea of, or a manufactured idea of vote chori, as they thought. That did not resonate. Neither was that an election issue. Tejaswi Yadav never talked about vote chori or vote adhikar or anything like that. Rahul Gandhi then disappeared, went to Colombia, ran out, came to last phase of polling and started again talking about vote chori. That did not resonate at all with the people. So that was one part of it. See, voter ultimately decides on who is going to deliver what. Bihar has become a hugely aspirational society. In the last few decades, it was an aspirational society. But now, since the kind of communication boom that has happened, and the people from Bihar, when we talk about Palayan, don't forget that that also makes people aware as to what kind of development is going on in other parts of the country. They want their state to be the same. In that scenario, if Tejaswi Yadav is promising more and almost everything to everyone, jobs, whatnot, and he does not have an idea as to people actually know the track record of RJD, Prasar Bharati, that Jungle Raj memories are still alive. On the other side, you have a combination, Prime Minister Modi and Nitish Kumar, on mark on delivery, on mark on the promises, right, and on mark of progress. So ultimately, when people went to vote, and don't forget, women voters have voted around 9%, their voting percentage is higher than male.
Indeed, yeah.
Which essentially is a solid support base of PM Modi and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. And therefore, I think these exit polls are broadly on the mark.
Okay, let's take that forward. Deepika continues to be with us. Deepika, women we know have voted in large numbers, record numbers, in fact, the highest ever voter turnout since 1951 as far as women are concerned particularly. What do you make of that? Is it because of the women empowerment schemes, including but not limited to the 10,000 rupees that have been given to women folk into their bank accounts, which is again an incentive for their entrepreneurship and not a cash dole? So if you could throw some light on that.
And also the free cycle scheme to all the women here across Bihar. That has also been a very, very good attractive point for all the voters here because they've encashed that opportunity in great numbers. Free cycles to all the school students so that they can go to the schools. And but however, many of the voters said that they were not able to go to the school on that cycles. However, that was used for different purposes. But that has also been one of the wooing factors here for the Nitish government. Now, Now, apart from that, when we talk about the greater voter turnout for women voters specifically, because it has been a record-breaking performance, we talk to the women voters themselves, and especially in areas, once again, I would like to go back to Jahanabad, where when we reached there at 7 o'clock, at 7:05, we clicked a picture of the first female voter who was given an appreciation certificate by the district administration itself for coming out at such a correct time and voting and then urging all the other female voters. Now, the reason being, which we asked to the voters, is the safe and secure conditions they have right now, which was never earlier the case. The law and order situation here in Bihar across different areas, across important constituencies, is a different case and is much secure. Secondly, the kind of opportunities, the kind of benefits that the government has given time and again to all these women beneficiaries has really impacted a lot. Thirdly, when we talked to the voters in this particular city as well, Patna, and coming out from Jahanabad, from Araval and from Gayaji, coming back to Patna, when we had a word with the voters who are running shops here till 10 p.m. till 11 p.m. where time is not a limit for them, time is not at all a problem for them because they feel so safe and secure. They said that it is not only about the women voters who are enjoying the different benefits from the government, but the specially abled people are also getting different benefits like the increased pension scheme which has been offered to the specially abled. So this has in turn resulted in a large voter turnout. And apart from that, a very quick last point, that when we went to Gandhi Maidan yesterday to talk with a lot many people there and to ask about who could be the probable chief minister, and there were around 8 to 10,000 youth who were doing their training sessions. When we asked what is the reason, they said that chief minister, the current Bihar government, the state government, they recently released so many positions for the police officials there, and hence the reason many women and men together 7 to 8,000 people are training there. So creating more job opportunities, giving them monetary benefits, giving them other benefits in kind as well, has somewhere wooed the voters and resulted in a great voter turnout this time.
Indeed, Gautam, polling has been by and large peaceful, so probably the EC needs to be congratulated for a job well done. But talking about Patna and adjoining areas, what kind of administrative or security measures have been put in place for counting day in particular?
Well, Ramesh, before I come to the security arrangements, just want to add to the whole safety factor, security factor that Deepika also mentioned, and you also said it's been incident-free. The Election Commission has come out with the complete analytical data in terms of how there have been no requests for repolls in any of the polling booths in both the phases of elections in Bihar or 243s. And this is a state where part of it was affected by Naxal violence at one time. There were those jungle Raj days. Generally, a lot of bogus voting allegations used to take place. Intimidation, voter intimidation used to be alleged, and a lot of repolls used to be ordered in previous elections. But this time around, nothing of that sort has happened. As for the counting process and the counting arrangements, there's going to be three-tier security arrangements, just like when we have polling as well. There will be, of course, central paramilitary forces who will be part of the innermost cordon, and that everything flows in a methodical manner. People will be in place to ensure that it's all transparent. There will be CCTV cameras, there will be observers, there will be micro-observers, there will be agents, no mobile phones in the counting centers. Over almost 4,200 counting tables will be set up for all these 243 odd seats, and it will be ensured that everything is smooth. It will start with the postal ballots in the morning for the first half an hour, and then the EVMs will be brought out, their seals will be checked, things will be tallied, and then the votes will be counted. Multiple rounds will take place, but by noon perhaps we will have a clear picture as to who will really lay claim to the next 5 years of running the government in Bihar.
Right, Gautam, stay with us. Let's get perspective again from Sanjay Singh. Mr. Singh, we were talking about the women voters this time around, a record high voter turnout among women in general too. But women have exceeded the voter turnout of men in the last 3 elections as well. So this is the 4th time that women have voted in greater numbers than men have. What does this suggest?
See, that is broadly constituency of Prime Minister Modi and Nitish Kumar. Modi, when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, he had done things, and if one had gone to Modi's rally then in Gujarat, you'd see it was like a rock star performance where women were sitting in front, cheering, supporting, shouting slogans, and so on and so forth. It was not because he was making promises, it was because he was delivering things which were beneficial to women. Cut to 2014, when he became Prime Minister, the schemes that he launched, I have sensed on many occasions on the ground the kind of empowerment, the kind of ease of life. Chaule was one simple thing. Then you had electricity, then you had gas. And then the kind of the money that they are getting through Mudra, and in Bihar in particular, the CM Rojgar, 10,000 rupees that has been given to them through CM Rojgar Yojana, and 1,100 rupees that has been enhanced as pension, Vridhavastha pension, that is working hugely in favor of the NDA. Nitish Kumar has tremendous appeal among women. Nashabandi, though, in my personal opinion, though I am a teetotaler, that was a wrong move on part of Nitish Kumar because that affects state revenue very badly. But at the same time, women folk are very happy about it because, evil effects of alcohol consumption was taking a toll on their family life, their personal lives, and so on and so forth. Also, the kind of, he was, our correspondent mentioned cycle. Then you also had Panchayat reservation and women empowerment as a whole. This 10,000 rupees in rural hinterland of Bihar is doing miracle. In the sense, these women and Jivika Pahan Didi, they are investing that particular money in terms of their own enterprise. So much so in certain areas, some male members have taken angst against it that they are getting 10,000 rupees, and the empowerment, the sense of empowerment that they have now. And remember, if you talking about 9% vote percentage, higher vote percentage among men and women, also remember that about 14% in terms of electoral roll, men have a higher percentage. So if you take in absolute figures, the number of women voters goes much, much higher. Because not every woman, even if they have benefited from these schemes, are going to vote for the NDA. But a substantial chunk of them are going to vote for them. We know that Bihar, as rest of the other country, is deeply caste-influenced society. But in some cases, as we understand, as I get sense from the ground, that many of women have gone against their male counterpart, the family elders, or other brethren in the family, and voted as per their own performance. So that's a very, very significant thing for Bihar. In parliamentary elections also, if you look at those data, women voting have increased tremendously in Bihar since 2014 election, when Modi became Prime Ministerial candidate at the center. So this factor, I think, is the X factor as it has been in the past for the BJP, for the NDA, and for Nitish Kumar and Prime Minister Modi. And RJD perhaps lacks on that particular count. Even if you have seen rallies of RJD and also vote Adhikari Yatra of Rahul Gandhi and Tejasvi Yadav, women folk was almost completely missing from there. So you draw a conclusion yourself. Of course, vote would be counted tomorrow and we'll get to know the details tomorrow. Absolutely.
Ms. Tandon, you spoke about Prime Minister Modi's backing for Mr. Nitish Kumar, implying that the post of Chief Minister is not vacant as we speak. But how would you contrast Nitish Kumar's image of being a Sushasan Babu, one who practices good governance, who is an able administrator, as opposed to that you have the perceived jungle Raj under the RJD rule, the law of the jungle as it were. How would you contrast the perceptions of the two broad alliances here?
Yeah, you see, this perception was the main plank of the NDA. Jungle Raj was the one single most dominant canvassing item on which Prime Minister, Home Minister, Mr. Nitish Kumar, all of them, ran their campaign. So you are right that when you start juxtaposing a reign of good governance under Nitish Kumar with something that was an equivalent of complete lawlessness under Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav when he was in power from 1990 until 2005. So he had his long run. And you see the memories of those years, if you go to the ground in Bihar, you will actually find children, you'll actually find people who've grown up who were children in those years.
Right.
So they have not been able to erase the memories of those very dark days when, abductions, kidnappings,
women
Naxalism, women couldn't move out. So it was an, unstated curfew-like situation in Bihar all the time. So that is the biggest advantage that the NDA had starting their campaign. So they began with an advantage and they kept consolidating it. Lalu Prasad Yadav also now ailing, he's been in jail, he's out on bail. So Tejasvi Yadav is practically facing very, very serious charges, and in December, his case is coming up. The charge sheet has been filed and the court is to now frame charges in the
IRCTC,
in the IRCTC, in the land for job scam. So this whole shadow of corruption over them, contrasting that with Prime Minister Modi and with the Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. So this contrast itself was a huge advantage, like you said. Plus, the most important factor was Nitish Kumar earned a lot of sympathy vote. When we traveled also, when we hit the ground, we saw that the opposition campaign, that he's not well, his physical state was being debated around in public meetings. People made public comments. Well, he's an aged leader, political leader, 74 years now.
So what you're saying is age and his health are not a handicap for him or the alliance.
In fact, they have added to the votes because it has given him sympathy. And in fact, there was one particular day when it was raining heavily in Gujarat. I don't remember what exactly was the day. It was a heavily rainy day. A number of campaign rallies were planned on all sides. Everybody dropped out of the program. Nitish Kumar was the only one who drove all the way from Patna to Darbhanga to address the rally. So who's physically fit or not, that's actually for the voters to see. And Nitish Kumar is much loved in Bihar. You see, that is the reason Nitish Kumar is not Eknath Shinde of Maharashtra, who can be wished away. Even if the NDA was to win a comfortable mandate tomorrow, which the exit polls are predicting, Nitish Kumar will continue to stay Chief Minister. In fact, in my political assessment, the Prime Minister would want him to stay. Exactly this was the scenario in the last election. Yes. You would remember that BJP emerged as a larger party, the big brother. They scored how many? 74 seats. And JDU scored 43 seats out of 243. And yet the Prime Minister, decided within the BJP that Mr. Nitish Kumar, who led the campaign, has to be the Chief Minister. See, nobody will bother Nitish Kumar with the Chief Minister's chair, because anybody who's ever tried to rock his chair, that is the exact time he has quit.
Are you implying the race is for the Deputy Chief Minister's post?
See, there will be Deputy Chief Ministers. I think there will be 3 Deputy Chief Ministers.
Okay.
3 up from 2?
I think so.
All from the BJP?
No, perhaps 1 from JDU and 2 from BJP, or 1 from some other alliance partner. Sure. There are many. LJP would want there is HAM, there are RLM. So a good balancing act within the alliance will happen, but there will be, in my assessment, at least 3 Deputy Chief Ministers.
Okay, fair enough. We still have with us our colleagues on the ground covering every facet, dimension of this fascinating election for us, Deepika and Gautam. Deepika, coming to you now, one last question before we let you go. Talking about the broad brush issues here at stake, Deepika, what do you think some of the key issues were that confronted the voters when they went into the polling booth? Was it development, jobs, migration, or all of the above? Also, we saw the Prime Minister announcing a Makhana board. Did that also make a difference on the ground?
I think that is one of the main reasons, because the picture that I showed you from Patna, the picture of development where women are progressing, where there is infrastructural development. We are just standing next to the double-decker bridge, and this is the same road where the double-decker buses are also moving on. So the people of other places like people of Arwal, people of Jahanabad, people of Ghosi, people of other places spread across the entire Bihar, they also want to witness the same sort of progress in their areas as well. And that is why development have been the major and the very first issue for the people who've gone out for voting in both the phases, across both the phases of Bihar polling. The other issue has been of migration, because when we talk about the youth, when we talk about Gen Z, from the age group of 18 to 39, 50% of the voters, they fall under this age group of 18 to 39, which is a very huge figure. So when we talk about from their point of view, from their perspective, what they want is a lessened migration rate, because they want more opportunities to be created in their state itself, so that they don't have to migrate to other states, they don't have to migrate to other cities, other countries as well, in order to grab more and better job opportunities and in order to have a better lifestyle as well. Thirdly, people here they really do want to rise above the caste system. There are around 2.9% of Bhumihars here, and interestingly, despite such a low figure, all the parties, apart from the main parties, which is the NDA Alliance and the Mahagathbandhan, the Grand Alliance and the Jan Suraj Party, all the parties mostly, they've fielded Bhumihar candidates from key seats. Why? Because they still think that caste is a factor here. So people here really want to rise above that caste factor. So people, they demand safety, they demand less migration, they demand job, employment opportunities and infrastructural development. These are the main pillars for which the winner will be decided, upon which the winner will be decided tomorrow, because people have more or less voted on these issues itself across the entire Bihar.
Yes, Deepika, stay with us. Gautam, coming to you now. Tell us about the preparations for the counting day tomorrow.
Yes, Munmun, I had mentioned that on counting day, of course, all the attention gets focused on counting centers. And in terms of security, I did mention that there will be 3-tier. So there's Bihar Police, there's the Special Armed Police, and then the Central Police Forces. And then the counting arrangements themselves extremely extensive to ensure that not only are they smooth, but also completely transparent. So CCTV cameras, no mobile phones inside for anyone. No victory processions as well, just to keep things on an even keel, even outside. So those are the kind of arrangements that have been put in place. A lot of personnel deployed, thousands of them, who will be ensuring that round after round the counting keeps on progressing without incident. And even if it's a large seat with a large amount of voters, there are some constituencies which do have a lot of voters. Perhaps 28 to 30 rounds should wrap it up.
And very quickly, Gautam, in one of your reports from Bihar, you spoke about how caste politics has almost always held sway in Bihar elections. Clearly, identity politics cannot be ignored. Will this election be any different?
Well, there is an incremental evidence that people are taking other factors into consideration as well. But there is always that saying that in the first place, if you see the candidate, if you see what kind of a leaning does the political party has, and a lot of excuse me, regional parties in Bihar have come up on caste lines itself. So that factor is very difficult to negate. But other things get added on, and then considerations are solidified, where the issues of development, the issue of migration, or if you call it just moving from one part of the country to the other for better prospects. It's an aspirational thing as well. It's not necessarily negative. I may want to do better in life by moving out, by getting an education perhaps in Delhi or in Bombay or other parts of the country, technical education in the south. That is all part of a natural course of people moving to different parts of the country for different aspirations. And then there are remittances adding to it as well. So all these factors keep adding on to the kind of things that people take into consideration and then decide on voting day as to which way they want to go. And they see changes all around as well, as Deepika mentioned too, the developmental push, connectivity, AIMS in Darbhanga, the Makhana board, airport in Darbhanga came up in Nitish Kumar's tenure as well. So all these changes have been making a difference, and people see that.
Right, Gautam and Deepika, stay with us. Let's go across to Sanjay Singh. Sanjay ji, what is the role of smaller parties? There was a lot of hype around the Jan Swaraj party around Prashant Kishore. Then there are other smaller parties as well. The AIM is also there. It had won 5 seats last time around. It had made its debut in 2015. It's again contesting. And there are other smaller parties as well. Then there are many independents too, and in some cases they are even backed by a major alliance. So what kind of role are these smaller parties and smaller entities playing in this election?
See, Jan Swaraj began by saying, Prashant Kishore began by saying that he is going to be third alternative. And this is going to be a triangular contest, and he is the one who is going to change Bihar, live up to expectations of what Bihar thought ought to have been. And he drew crowd, of course, and he did create a momentum. But his momentum dissipated. He could not ride that momentum. He did not contest elections. That was the first setback for him. And at the moment, he appears to be only a fringe player. He will have some votes here and there. Maybe in some constituency, he'll dent either NDA candidate or RJD or Mahagathbandhan candidate. Winning prospect, I doubt, seriously doubt. One or two or a few candidates of Jan Swaraj can win, but that is on strength of individual, like if somebody had that kind of particular influence in particular region, and therefore he may win, may lose. MIM, of course, OIC has had presence in Simhanchal region, and that area voting percentage have been really very impressive. In Kishanganj, for instance, it was close to around 80%. So he may have some seats, and he is basically banking on Muslim support base. So that is one. Beyond that, this is a straight fight between RJD and the BJP, or NDA and Mahagathbandhan. Not just the BJP, it is the coalition that NDA has, JDU, BJP, RLD, Upen Kushwaha's party, HAM, and Chirag Paswan's party, of course. Chirag Paswan, third largest beneficiary in NDA, remains to be seen as to who gets what numbers. And basically, I won't hazard a guess on government position at the moment. But yes, in terms of development, Paswan Roy was correcting as to what kind of developments had taken place in.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Ms. Tandon, you get the last word on this broadcast. Would you like to hazard a guess on post-poll dynamics? Will it come into play if the numbers don't go in, either alliance advantage? Or do you think the question is not whether Nitish Kumar will become Chief Minister, the question is who and how many deputies would he have?
Yeah, I think so. See, the NDA's victory, not just because exit polls are predicting, like we looked at the factors. Also, you see, you have to factor in Tejasvi Yadav and Rahul Gandhi's campaign. They started off with Vote Adhikar Yatra. That was their main campaign issue. And Rahul Gandhi, in fact, it was very strange. I was just looking at the date. It was on the 5th of November that Rahul Gandhi came out and did his presentation saying that Haryana election was allegedly stolen, and that a similar presentation I will come and make to you about Bihar. Tomorrow is the election, and you are choosing the eve of the election to make a point that you are perhaps, not so much in the race, and that the votes are going to be stolen and all that is going to happen. I do not know how that must have played on the psyche of the Congress sympathizers and supporters, because it's not to say that the opposition doesn't have a base. The problem with the opposition has so far been that they've not been able to convert that base into votes. And Bihar is no ordinary election. It is the first election after the Election Commission introduced the special intensive revision of electoral rolls. Now a pan-India rollout is underway, and Bihar becomes then an effective precursor to the next year's assembly election cycle, which is extremely crucial. So it's a very important election, as important for NDA as it is for Mahagathbandhan, in fact more for the opposition.
Absolutely. Yes. On that note, may we, okay, before we close, now the exit polls have set the tone for counting day. Almost all have forecast that the NDA will comfortably cross the halfway mark of 122.
Absolutely. While each party is interpreting these exit polls from their perspective, they've also given rise to a poster war that's being played out on the ground. DD India's Gautam Roy reports.
Elections are known for a war of words, either in political rallies or in newsrooms. But they're also known for posters. And the poster war in these Bihar elections has peaked just ahead of counting day. On one hand, you have the ruling Janata Dal United, which has had Chief Minister Nitish Kumar in place ruling the state for almost 2 decades now, which is why you have parties' leaders putting up posters such as these, which says Tiger Abhi Zinda Hai, which essentially means Tiger is still alive. But on the other hand, you have a rival like the Rashtriya Janata Dal RJD and its younger leader Tejasvi Yadav, who's asserting that he wants to bid goodbye to Nitish Kumar's government, which is why the poster says Alvida Chacha, which means goodbye, uncle. So this is how the war of posters, or the poster war, has reached a new level in these elections in Bihar.
Poster wars aside, the exit polls, coupled with an unprecedented turnout of 67.13% in Bihar, have given a sharper edge to the war of words between the two main rivals. More than half a dozen exit polls, which came out after the end of the second phase of polling, have spoken in one voice. Even if the poll predicting the least number of seats is considered, the Modi-Nitish-led NDA is expected to go beyond the halfway mark of 122 seats to attain a simple majority in Bihar Assembly. If the maximum number of seats forecast by any exit poll is considered for the NDA, it could even win a two-third majority. The exit polls and even the turnout spurt has lifted the NDA's spirit ahead of the results. It has credited its leadership at both the centre and the state for the predicted outcome.
युवाओं को नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जो गारंटी दिया है उनके भविष्य का, तो इन सब कारणों से भी जो है वोट का परसेंटेज बढ़ा है। जनता ने मैंडेट स्पष्ट कर दिया है कि एनडीए की सरकार बनने जा रही है।
जो आप लोगों ने आंकड़ा पेश कर रहे हैं, जो मीडिया के साथ एग्जिट पोल के माध्यम से दिखाया जा रहा है, उससे भी बेहतर इस बार एनडीए का प्रदर्शन होगी। और इस बार बिल्कुल जनता ने ये साबित कर दिया है और ये बता दिया है, विकास और सुशासन को यहाँ भरोसा जताया जनता ने।
But the rival Mahagathbandhan's RJD questions the credentials of the exit polls. It asserts that the increased turnout of voters indicates a mandate seeking change.
जो एग्जिट पोल आया है, ये पूरी तरह से अमान्य है। ये कोई भी एजेंसी वैसी नहीं है जिसको मान्यता मिला हो, और स्पष्ट रूप से बिहार की जनता का जो विश्वास तेजस्वी जी के नेतृत्व पर है, वो 72 लाख अतिरिक्त वोटर्स को भी उसका एहसास हुआ।
Clearly, with the exercise of their franchise, Bihar's voters have left no doubt in anyone's mind as to their keenness to having a say in the future. But they have always kept alive the mystery of the outcome. With camera person Vicky Rajput, Gautam Roy's report, DD India.
All right, on that note, may we thank both our guests, Mr. Sanjay Singh and Ms. Aditi Tandon, for joining us and sharing your thoughts and perspectives with our viewers. Thanks also to our colleagues Gautam Roy in Patna as well as Deepika Mehto also in Patna. With that, it's a wrap on this special broadcast. But news continues here on DD India. You can catch all the latest news and updates on the DD India social media, mobile and digital platforms.
And remember, tomorrow is the big day. So here's a programming note. Our Bihar election coverage resumes at 7 a.m. local time. That is 01:30 GMT on Friday. Do join us for the most comprehensive and in-depth results day live on DD India. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.